You might be at the point where you're starting to ask yourself if, Simon, did you make the right decision doing all this? And I'm still on the, yes, this was the right call bandwagon. Welcome back, YouTube world. We're still on the 51 Ford custom shoebox here. Chopped, bagged, suicide doors, Powerstroke. Oh, hell yeah. If you were watching in the last couple of videos, we got this thing a lot lower than it used to be. I mean, she has been dropped an additional 4.5 inches from the previous build of when I built this car, mainly because I didn't know what I was doing, learned a lot, figured it out, decided I didn't like it, so we made the changes, because that's what I do. If I don't like it, I'm gonna change it, because it's my car, do what I want. Anywho, on this video, we gotta get a PANHARD bar figured out, which I feel, for me, that's gonna be the most complicated part of this whole process of dropping this car an additional 4.5 inches. I'm gonna try, here, let me get this garbage out of your way. That's gotta be rerouted once the bag comes out. Don't let me forget about that, because we don't, that's in the way. We gotta get the old, so here's the old PANHARD bar mount, and there's another one on the frame. You can't kind of see it. Maybe you can see it under there. There, it's hanging way down low, way lower than it needs to be now. In my head, my thought is, we cut the mount off the frame, we leave the one on the axle where it is, and we make our adjustments there. I did learn how to properly set up a PANHARD bar, and we're gonna try and figure it out together. Because when I did this one, I feel I did it wrong, and it made the axle move way more than it needed to. So there's a technique you can use to set up your PANHARD bar to minimize the movement of your axle, and then when it's all the way down, your axle's squared up. When it's all the way up, your axle's squared up. And then in the middle, it's just kicked a little bit, just a smidge. So that's what we're gonna try and do. We're gonna try and get accomplished. We're gonna stop yapping. We're gonna get to work. And the first part of that stage is, we need to figure out what our blah, 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 blah. Words are hard for me. We need the minimum and maximum travel for the suspension. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's just get some bolts in the bags and get our mins and maxes for the suspension travel. I hope this isn't gonna be too difficult for me, and if it is, we'll keep adjusting until we can make it work. I'm gonna see if I can't just sit in here and get the bolts in the bottom of these bags, because I can't see nothing, and I'm not fitting under the car anymore. No, that's not working. We gotta go up. Somehow we gotta get this thing up in the air. Maybe we can go this way with it. Would have been smart if I had brought a wrench with me. Oh, now I just dropped the bolt. Son of a... This is dumb. God, I'm an idiot. This is interesting. It was a bolt, a lock washer, and a flat washer. And the only thing that landed on the ground was the flat washer. And I can't find the bolt. That's interesting. Super, super helpful. I just need a little less room to make this really convenient. Oh. Found it. It's way over by the tire. Yeah, this is going good. This is going real good. Uh-huh. Okie dokie. Whew. Yep, up we go. Alright, there we go. Got it tightened down. I just realized a smarter person than me would have taken the compressed measurement before they went through all this effort to try and get the extended measurement, because we got to lower it back down to get that too, and then we got to jack it back up to the back. Oh, dummy. Oh. Let's just start with what we got. How about that? Simon, you need to slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Is this the best way to do this, or do we air the bags up as much as they'll take and then figure it out? The bags are good to 9 inches extended. Found that information on the website where I got them. But for ease of measuring, we're just going to go off the top of the axle to the bottom of the plate here. That's just going to make it easier when they're compressed, in my opinion. Just confirming that I'm at the 9 inches, 11 and a quarter. 11 and a quarter. So full on max suspension height is 11 and a quarter inches from the bottom of the plate to the top of the axle. I don't think it matters where you measure from, just make sure you're measuring from the same location in both positions. So now we can drop these all the way down, compressed again, take that measurement, divide it in half. That will be where we set our PANHARD bar at. So let's get that figured out. I'm gonna write this shit down because I'm gonna forget if I don't. 11 and a quarter, right? 11 and a quarter, yes. Let's just double check. 11 and a quarter. Just for the record, for anybody who doesn't know, I am 6'4", and I have myself contorted into the trunk of this thing trying to measure an axle under a package tray. The positions I put myself in life are not always desirable. We gotta make it work. And we're at 5 3/8. 5 3/8, 11 and a quarter. I better write that down. I'm so cramped up here I can't get my marker out of my pocket. Oh wait, I got one in this pocket. We're fine. What was it? 5 3/8. All right, now we just got to do some basic math, but I'm going to do that on the outside of the card because it hurts. I went and drew it out here a little bit, not for your benefit, for mine. Is it perfect? Probably not, but I don't know. I mean, it's got to be close. So I'm going to figure out how I can get that axle blocked up at 3 inches exactly. No, that doesn't make sense. If I put it at 3 inches, this is probably how I screwed up the last time I built this thing. Actually, I think I just figured out how I did that. Anyways, another story, another problem. I need to go up 3 inches from where it is right now and then lock it in. That's what we need to do. If I just block it at 3 inches now, we're gonna be exactly where we are right now, and that's all the way bottomed out, so that ain't gonna work. We gotta go up 3 inches from here. 8 7/8. No, wait, screwed it up again. We need to go 3 inches to the minimum. 8 3/8. 5/16. All right, that's what we're going with. Final answer, I promise. This is why I write it out and draw it out, so my brain can process it and get it as accurate as possible. 8.5/16. I know it's not a decimal, it's a fraction, but it's okay if you combine the two of them. Oh, we almost screwed up already, folks, but I went back to the drawing board here and I think I squared it away. All right, so we actually need to make a block of some sort at 5 11/16. We put that in between the pad mounts for the airbag, and we should be at 8 5/16 total height from the frame with one block. I'm hoping. That's what I don't know if this makes sense to anybody, if it's just making sense to my brain, the way I process it, but I think this is the correct answer. If I had made the block at 8 5/16, we would have been way off. All right, so things aren't going super quick because I almost screwed up already. This is the block I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut 2 of them. I measured it out and I marked it here, and I thought that looks awful small. Let's double check everything, and I went over it and over it, rechecked my math, went over it some more, then realized I marked this at 4 11/16, not the 5 11/16 I need. This line here represents the halfway mark of the suspension travel. We're gonna knock that off of there, make another one, knock that off of there, place them where the bags are supposed to be, and that is gonna set our height for where we make our PANHARD bar at. Hell yeah, that's gonna work. Or it won't, and I'll tell you about it. Now we should be able to just double this up, right? Well, that's what we're doing. Perfecto! Make sure both mounts, I don't know if you can see that, but there's the axle mount. And then where I put the frame mount are the exact same distance from the ground. That's supposed to be a very key feature in this operation. So we're gonna do that. Hopefully it doesn't shift as much. I don't know, I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna tack everything in and see what happens. Like literally, what's the worst that can happen? I start over again? Well, this is embarrassing. Nope, found them. I was gonna say, I can't find my brackets. All right. I don't really know how much you guys are gonna be able to see because this is some tight quarters. Yeah, this is gonna be tricky, but I don't think undoable. Just gonna have to figure it out. One part I didn't think about when I did this is how I would get this sorted so we're parallel. Is that the right word? I don't even know at this point. I know what we can do. I got an idea. Sit tight. Here's what I did. I took and clamped a bar to the outside face of this mount. I tried using that clamp, but it was just too freaking big, and then I was compressing these two tabs together, so that wasn't working. This clamp was so weak it wouldn't hold the damn thing. So I got her pretty much where she needs to be and then tacked her. It's level is to where it needs to be on the level. And then that'll give me my guide on this side so I can get that mount tacked in there. It's basically like a jig, I suppose is what you'd call it. Yeah, maybe it's not, but that's what I called it. So I'm just gonna tack the mount in accordingly. The tab and see how we look. It's as best as we can do. If you were watching my other videos, I was complaining about my MIG gun. Well, I ended up ordering one off Amazon. It was literally the cheapest one I could find because, well, I'm cheap, so that's what I got. Now the tape measure wants to hook onto things. New gun, already welded the tip shut. That didn't take long. Let's just pretend you didn't instantly see me weld my brand new tip shut on my brand new MIG gun. Maybe I'll put my helmet on so I can actually see what I'm doing. There's so much space down here, it's awesome. See how we did for our measurement. I mean, we look like we're like right there. Perfect. I think for the inside tab, we're gonna take a link, heim joint, whatever you wanna call them. Set that in there and we'll use that as our guide instead of this steel. I can bust this out of here now, I think. Weak ass clamp. Just remember, people, don't do what I do thinking it's the right way to do it, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure it out. And if it works, I get lucky. If it doesn't, it just frickin' sucks. And then we gotta keep trying. I'm gonna take my heim joint here. I'm gonna set her right inside the clamp, or right inside the deal. I'm even gonna put washers in there to give it a little space, like so, like so. And you probably can't see, but like so. Wish I had brought something to tighten the bolt. What if we... This is definitely not going to be an improved method. But instead of getting out to go get something, I'm going to stack a bunch of cutoff wheels up on it. At least that'll help me get it snugged up enough by hand. It ain't dumb if it works, people. Just remember that. Sorry, I knocked the camera over. But I'm not in a real easy position to come fix it. What you doing down there? Hanging out? Okay, cool. So we got that tacked in. Yeah, I think we put the airbags in, droop her all the way down, get the axle squared, measure our link bar, and go with that. I think that's gonna work. I know it's gonna work. It's gonna be good. All right, so clearly I gotta get used to being so damn low because I did it again. I did it frickin' again. I squashed my fender on a block because I'm not used to the car going so damn low. Son of a, that sucks. Hopefully it'll all just kind of spring back to its normal shape. Hopefully. The great thing is I gotta put the jacket back in the trunk to even get it lifted to get it out. Ugh. This is convenient. It's mostly fine. Annoying. So here we are. I got the axle kind of strapped to the frame and kind of square it in so it can like locate for me. It's pretty good actually. I have got it offset just a smidge, like 3/16 of an inch, the axle that way. Because when this arcs, because the mounts on the axle there, when this arcs down and essentially the car comes up, it's gonna push the axle that way, just because that's how these PANHARD bars work. So I'm trying to split the difference so when the car comes up and the axle goes that way, that we don't have fender rubbing issues while we're driving down the road. So I got it about as tight as I'm comfortably okay with over here when it's all the way lowered. So when it goes up, it's gonna shift, and hopefully that gives us enough compensation on that side that we can not have any rubbage issues. And then if you didn't know, if it was to extend all the way back down to the bottom and this would go all the way up as high as it could go, it should put this axle in this exact same position it's in right now. Because this is the farthest it's going to move that way, and then when it's in the middle of its travel, it'll be the farthest it can go that way. And then all the way extended will be the farthest it can move that way. I hope that makes sense. I'll put a link to that video I was watching to make it better understandable. Is that a thing? I don't know. All we're going to do now is we're going to measure from this point to this mount over here, get the length we need, set our PANHARD bar to that, and put it in, and then we're going to cycle it and see how we look. Well, so what do we know at this point? I know the people that are able to do this and make it look super easy, you impress me because I frickin' struggle. And maybe it's my own self-doubt. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's okay to let go and what's not okay to let go. And I sit here and hem and haw about it. Should I do that or shouldn't I do that? You know, it's my own mental game I got to play with myself. But we're getting there slowly, but we're getting there. As far as I can tell, everything I measure, the axle is squaring up where it's supposed to be. But on the body side of things, it's like damn near touching this outer wheel well where it's got a whole gamut of room over this side. I don't know why. According to the measuring to the frame, it's square, but according to the body, it's not, which makes no sense because the body is actually located in factory body mount holes. So ultimately, it doesn't rub anywhere, and I'm okay with it. As long as we're not rubbing, we go up and down, and it doesn't rub, it's good to go, right? It's where it's gonna be, I think. So I think we gotta do some welding now, start locking some things in, and then we got to figure out a drive shaft. We got to figure out how we're going to make the floor work now. We got all kinds of things to figure out from this point, but I think it's locked. That's where she's going to live. It's going to be, that's as low as it's going to get. I can't get it any lower without serious modifications, and she's pretty freaking low. She is pretty freaking low. I just want to go on the record and say I should have changed my MIG gun a year ago. Holy crap, what a difference that's making. I mean, I'm still not a good welder, but it's not making me worse, and it's definitely better than it was. So maybe your MIG gun needs to be changed too. Just something to look at, maybe, at least think about. I mean, I was running out of gas constantly with that other gun, and I'm not having that problem anymore, so that's a bonus. Plus, it's just welding overall better. Who knew those things wear out too? You live and you learn.
Invincible.
Going up. That's ride height right there. Plenty of tire clearance. We are looking good. Let's put her down. I am gonna make sure there's nothing underneath the car this time because I've learned my lesson, hopefully. Whoa, almost fell on my face getting in the back here. Let's see how we go down. And down. Downtown, Julie Brown. We have her locked in. She's all welded up. We got the airbags back in. I mean, what more could a guy ask for? Let's cycle it a couple times, just make sure everything's good. I mean, that's all the way up. I don't think it goes any higher than that. All right, we're pretty much maxed out at this point. So we don't have wheels rubbing on the inner wheel wells. Take that back. We don't have inner wheel wells. We got plenty of clearance between the fender and the wheel. We're as low as we can physically go without drastic changes to the frame and link bar mounts, and I'm not about to start doing that. This all has been about trial and error and figuring my crap out. I learned a lot, and I learned the biggest thing. If I'm not happy with it from the get-go, let's address it then instead of waiting till this point to do it, because it would have been way easier. Now we know for next time. Panhard is checked off the list. Now I think we got to figure out the drive shaft. We got to work on some flooring stuff. Actually, I think next on the list is the drive shaft. We got to get that drive shaft all squared away now. We'll figure it out when I figure it out. That's all there is to it. Let's give you the how low can you go? Feet clear. and down she goes. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to see what other garbage I'm gonna do to this thing, because I got some more ideas, or we'll just start building another one. You know, my ADHD brain will be like, that's enough of this, let's go get another one type problem. We'll see. See you next time.